Big day for the SmarkCast. We're not just doing one show, but two today. This one will be all about WWE. The second one will be about Ring of Honor. I said I was going to do a show for Future of Honor and start covering Ring of Honor, and today is the day. So, we will get to the shows of WWE now. Going to cover both Battleground and Raw. I'm not going to cover them in full. I'm not going to just go through each match and segment because that would just be silly. I'm just going to hit the basic bullet points. So, to start it out, for Battleground, or as I called it, Botchamania, the show just wasn't there. There were a few people that really liked it, but honestly, nothing happened for one. Nothing really, no storylines got furthered. Nothing really big happened. And the matches themselves, excluding the first match, the Usos versus Wyatts, excluding that match, the matches were just all clunky and just, they didn't work. They were very botchy. A lot of botches that night. I mean, a ton. Even in Jericho and Wyatt and Paige and AJ. Very, very odd. But personally, while watching after the pay-per-view ended, I was thinking to myself that this is more of a souped-up Raw than it is a pay-per-view. And I mean, I was glad that I only paid $9.99 for it because it just wasn't really worth it. It seems like Battleground is going to be the new thing where you get a really bad pay-per-view every year, and it just so happens to fall on the same pay-per-view every year, and it looks like Battleground is that pay-per-view because last year's Battleground sucked as well. But I'll go through the matches anyway. Cameron versus Naomi. I actually got this one wrong. To be honest with the predictions, I got most of the predictions wrong because I went with logic. I did not go with this person's going to win because this is what WWE wants to do. I went with, well, it's only logical if this person wins. And of course, WWE being WWE and not following any logic whatsoever, I was wrong on a lot of those. Cameron and Naomi being one. Naomi should have won that, and that should have ended the feud. Done. It shouldn't have been any further. Naomi should have won that, and Cameron should be put off in a corner somewhere to where she will never be seen again. The thing is, this Cameron versus Naomi thing is all about Total Divas. So it's going to make for something for Total Divas, which kind of sucks. But either way, Cameron won, and it was garbage. It wasn't a very good match. It didn't make sense at all that Cameron won, but whatever. I'm actually going to go ahead and skip forward because I don't even want to talk about that anymore. Best match of the night was the very first match to start off the entire show, which was the Usos versus Wyatt's 2 out of 3 falls match. The match was a beautiful story. It was great the way it worked. The Wyatts and Usos work very well together. I'm a big fan of the Usos. I'm also a big fan of the Wyatts and just love this match. However, I hated the end because it is not logical in any way, shape, or form to have the Usos win again. Several points here. Number one, it's starting to make the Wyatts look a little weak. They came in as this dominant force that no one can defeat. And the Usos, who just keep smashing them every pay-per-view, and it's like I said on Twitter and on the SmarkCast, they're making the Wyatts look like they are a powerful team. Yes, they are a very powerful team on Raw, but when it comes to actual, where it actually matters, like a title match or something, no, that ain't gonna happen. And I find that to be very horrible because the Wyatts are a really good team. And another problem I have with it is the Usos have no one else. There is no other tag team. People were calling for Stardust and Goldust versus Usos. The Usos have already beat Stardust and Goldust. Yeah, they beat them when they were the Rhodes brothers, but they beat them. They're done. 1, 2, 3, 3 times they beat the Rhodes brothers. And everyone's like, no, these aren't the same. This is Stardust and Goldust. And to that I say, so you're telling me that if Luke Harper or Eric Rowan were to just change their name next week, it would be okay for them to go after the belts again because it's a different team, because one of them has a different name? No, that is stupid, and it makes your IQ drop. There is no reason why the Usos should still be champs. The only thing I can think of that they're going to plan on doing here is bringing up the Ascension, which I think bringing the Ascension up and throwing them directly into a title shot is just asinine. It's not smart, because, and I'm going to look at it, I'm going to give you the logical reason why it's not smart, which may not work, but this is the way it is. The Ascension are in NXT where they've been doing nothing but beating jobbers. Nothing but beating jobbers at all. And then you got to look at the casual WWE fan does not watch NXT. It's true. Look at the stats. Only about roughly 60% of the audience watches NXT. That leaves 40% of the people in the complete dark as to who the Ascension is. And then the people who do watch NXT have been seeing them beat nothing but jobbers and not have any real competition, so they don't look like a legitimate threat. They come in, they beat the Usos, and that's the biggest argument with the Usos. How do these guys keep winning? They aren't a legitimate threat, and it's the Ascension is not a legitimate threat either. And basically, right now, it's because WWE has been pushing tag teams. That's all there is to it. And then there is no heel tag team now. You have Rybaxel, which no one wants to see that. Rybaxel's horrible. And they've painted themselves into a corner, and now that the Usos are still champion, who do you have to take those titles? Nobody. They've beaten everybody. You can have Goldust and Stardust come in there and do it, but it would be a great match, but it wouldn't make any sense because the Usos have already beaten him 3 times, so how can all of a sudden Stardust and Goldust can suddenly beat him all because Cody Rhodes changed his name? No. Dumb. The tag division is pretty much dead now. There's nothing to it anymore. It's just like the main event scene. I'll get to the main event scene later, but it's just like the main event scene. It's just not there anymore. Alright, the next was Paige and AJ. A botch-filled match. It just wasn't that good. It was still better than anything Ryback's put on in a few years, but it just didn't work, and I think it's because they've never worked together before, and AJ's coming back from a vacation. I think their match at SummerSlam will be much, much better. Plus, I'm going to skip to a little bit of Raw here. On Raw, AJ and Paige teamed up to face Natalya and Emma. Congratulations to Emma for actually getting on the show. Awesome. And Paige turned on AJ, which was one of the most awesome turns in a really, really, really long time, because she did it with flair, she did it with anger, she did it with she went all out on it. And for those of you who do not know who Paige is outside of WWE and NXT, because in WWE and NXT she has been primarily a face. Before that, she was in the independents and she was a heel, and she was amazing. She was much, much, much better as a heel. She just had way more personality. So Paige and AJ, I see this feud going on for a little bit. Give it 2 or 3 more months. I think AJ comes out on top. But I also see Paige coming out of here looking strong, and in the end gaining more fans, because that's what this is about. They made a mistake by having Paige debut and win the title. It got her to the top of that glass ceiling, and there was nowhere left to go. Now that AJ's back in there working with her, it's going to be better because now she can break through the glass ceiling and maybe win the title again later down the line. I was already a fan of Paige. I shouldn't have made up that name. I made up the tag name Paige, and now I can't quit saying it, and it's driving me insane. So Paige is going to gain more fans, and I'm a bigger fan of her now, which is awesome. Next, we have Rusev and Swagger. I'm going to go on a small rant about this one. Lana did a promo before the match where she mentioned that the United States is blaming Putin for certain current events. Now, when she said that, everyone started booing because they know they meant the Malaysian airplane that got shot down. Now, the problem here is WWE backpedaled immediately. Just like, no, that's not what she was talking about. That's not what she was talking about. But that is literally the only current event that Putin has been blamed for that happened recently. So what else could she have been talking about? And now they're backpedaling, and I called it. I'm going to say it right now. I called it the day they started this Putin-Lana stuff. I said it was cool, it was funny, it worked, but they needed to be careful because eventually Putin was going to do something really stupid and it was going to backfire on Lana. Boom. Backfire. It happened. I don't think they're going to be doing the Putin thing anymore. I think they're going to calm that stuff down. I don't think they're going to punish Lana or punish Rusev in any way, but I think the Putin stuff may be done. I don't know for a fact, but it looks like that's the way they're going, because if you watched Monday, she came out there and right before she cut a promo, boom, Khali's music kicked in. And they didn't let her speak. So they're going to have to find something new for her. Kind of sucks because it was getting heat. I mean, and then with Swagger not showing up at all, I mean, it's almost like they've shut that thing down, which would be a shame because that would mean that the feud has ended in a really piss poor way. It ended in a count out, which usually means you need to get revenge. Now, what I think they need to do here, this is just my opinion, is continue the Swagger and Rusev feud just one more time, make it at SummerSlam, and make it an all-out war. Just, I mean, make Rusev look very, very strong, bring him to the brink, but have Swagger win it. Swagger pins Rusev, and it just kind of, it just kind of implodes. But then there's more after it, not just Swagger and it's over. Have Rusev come back as a monster, and I think he should beat Sheamus for the U.S. title. I mean, and then change it, kind of like what the Canadians used to do, where they would take the U.S. title but change it into the Canadian title, change it into the Russian title. Just change it. It'd be great. And then we can have some other American come in and war with him. So there is a way out of this. They don't have to just kind of put him on the back burner. There is a way to fix this. Just stop the Putin stuff. Which me personally, I don't like sharing my view on this. Me personally, I don't find it that offensive what she said, because I mean, you got to think about like. When Heath Ledger died, and the very next week, American Dad did a joke about Heath Ledger dying of a drug overdose, which was in very poor taste, but people were like, oh, they're up with current events, that was funny. But wrestling always gets painted in a bad light no matter what they do. Family Guy could have had Lana come on and do that promo on Family Guy, and everyone would have clapped, which I find to be bullshit. It's bull crap, sorry. But either way, there is a way out of this. They don't have to put Lana and Rusev on the back burner. Next, we had Rollins and Ambrose, which was scheduled to happen. It did not happen. Instead, they had an all-out brawl, which was better. And I see why they're doing it. They're kind of like teasing this match, teasing it. You're going to get this. You're going to get this match, and then they pull it away from us at the last minute and just make them brawl. I do have a theory on this, though. They're going to make them brawl, and then by the time they actually get to SummerSlam, we're salivating, waiting for this match to happen. I have a theory on this Ambrose and Rollins thing, though. WWE said that Rollins did not hurt his leg. I think that's horse crap. I think he did hurt his leg. And that's why they didn't have the match. And that's why they didn't go at it on Raw. And that's why Rollins didn't really do anything at the pay-per-view. He just took a beating and then kind of jumped on him and stuff like that and kind of cradled his leg. I think he's injured, and the WWE just doesn't want to admit it. I think he's not injured badly, and he is going to be healed by SummerSlam. I've had an ACL injury before, and I know that that crap is painful. So I do believe that Rollins is hurt. Plus, I have it on good authority that he was not faking it at that show. I'll leave it at that. So I'm actually looking forward to Rollins Ambrose. It's one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most at SummerSlam. Next we have Jericho and Wyatt, which was kind of a disappointment, but not really. It was a good starting match. I called for a Jericho win, because it makes sense to have Jericho win and then Bray Wyatt just be like, I don't care that I lost, and then beat down Jericho for the next 2 matches and win out the feud in the end. Should Jericho have went over clean with that pin? No. That doesn't make any sense, because that kind of makes Bray look weak. And another thing that kind of made Bray look weak was the Luke Harper and Eric Rowan were at ringside, and Bray Wyatt was doing great, but when they got booted, he kind of started doing bad. So it kind of makes Bray look weak, like he needs those two, when in reality he doesn't. So they need to snap this back and have Bray Wyatt just destroy Jericho by himself. The two going at it promo style will still be epic. If you didn't watch Raw, Bray Wyatt did an amazing job with his promo. It was awesome. I mean, he surprises me every time he gets on the mic, and I love it. I mean, a lot of people, I did talk to a few people, not just 1 or 2. It was like 4 or 5 that say that he's kind of getting boring, which I don't believe that at all, but I can see where they're coming from, because he does speak in a very monotone, doesn't change his inflection much, he just kind of drones. But as a English major, journalism major, I listen to the words, and everything he says is amazing. So I actually am still looking forward to this feud. It's still going to be a great feud. Just because that one match was a little botchy and weird doesn't mean anything to me. So next we had the Battle Royal. I'm going to skip everything except for Heath Slater eliminated Cesaro before the Final Four, which was really weird. And also at the very beginning of the Battle Royal, The Miz got hit. He rolled out of the ring, and the minute that happened, we were 2 minutes into the Battle Royal. I turned to my wife and said, The Miz is going to, I was like, someone's going to win this, and then The Miz is going to come in at the last minute and throw him out and be the winner. Sure enough, that's what happened, and it just so happened to happen to Ziggler, which people were not happy about. I was not happy about it. No one was happy about it, mainly because The Miz sucks. I mean, The Miz was okay as a novelty coming in. When he was with John Morrison, he was great because he had someone to counteract his inabilities in the ring, because he's got charisma and he's pretty good on the mic. I mean, I can say that about The Miz, but in the ring, he's very lacking. A lot of the time, he gets carried through most of the match, which was evident at Raw when he fought Ziggler, which was an epic match. It was great. It was a good little 15-minute match, but really the Miz had nothing to do with that. He put on a few good moves to help out Ziggler, but Ziggler did most of the work. But people aren't going to see that, because they're just going to see it as, oh no, the Miz is not that bad. But that's not the case. There is several times when one person will carry another throughout an entire match. It happens. So the Miz wins. Very dumb. I just don't see why they would give him the belt, but hopefully, at best Ziggler takes it from him. At second best, Miz holds on to it until Wade Barrett comes back, and then he feels a bullhammer, which would be fantastic. I was about that. The Battle Royal itself was cool, but the ending stunk. Fatal 4-Way, not a very good match. It was very formulaic. It was very, like, you knew what was going to happen the entire time. It was going to end in finishing, pin. That's just what it's going to be, you know. The crowd was going crazy when Reigns was about to win it, which, to me, I don't think Reigns is ready when it comes to the ring work or the mic work, but I can tell you that whenever he's in the ring and that crowd's going crazy, I'm into it. Like, even though he's only doing the same 5-6 moves over and over and over again, I'm still really into it. I'm really into what he's doing at that time. So I can see Reigns actually being the champion now. I can see Reigns coming up and facing Brock Lesnar and taking it from him or something. I can see that because the crowd would love to see that, and he's really charismatic and awesome. He's not on the level of Ambrose and Rollins, but Ambrose and Rollins also don't get the reaction he does. So, you know, that was cool when they were teasing his win. Cena won it, of course. Everyone knew Cena was going to win it because it's been set in motion for months that Cena was going to go on to SummerSlam to face Brock Lesnar. There was never a doubt. It's just like when Batista came in and everyone knew for months that Batista was going to win that Royal Rumble. It was never not going to happen. There you go. So now he's going to face Brock Lesnar, which I'll get to here in a minute. Starting with Raw. Raw was way better than the pay-per-view. Raw was insanely good. I wasn't a huge fan of the first hour and a half because they did start it out with 2 handicap matches, and that's kind of the Reigns versus Orton and Kane, which pretty much set up Orton versus Reigns because Reigns finally knocked out Kane, pretty much putting him in the dirt. That's the end of that. So now he's going after Orton, and that's what's going to happen at SummerSlam. Reigns and Orton, which should be a pretty good match. The second was the Divas, 4 Divas versus Nikki Bella as soon as that match was announced on the pre-show, I said Brie's coming back, and Brie came back. Brie came out there and got in Stephanie's face. Stephanie slapped her. Later on in the show, Stephanie was arrested in what I think was pretty much the segment of the night. It was fantastic. Star of the show on Raw, though, was Triple H. He came out there and just burned all of us with I'm so angry about that pay-per-view. I'm going to complain on Twitter. You know, that was beautiful. And then the whole... I'm going to go down there, but I'm going to go down to the police station, but I got to make the announcement. But she does have to be booked, right? Oh yeah, I got time. We're good. You know, that was awesome too. So, star of the night, Triple H, easily. And segment of the night was the whole Stephanie getting arrested, which was beautiful. She played it perfectly because she wasn't being a hard ass about it. She was pretty much like, I'm really scared and I don't know what to do. I don't want to go to jail. It was great. So that right there was the setup for Brie versus Stephanie at SummerSlam. We're gonna have, I don't know if it's gonna be Brie and Stephanie. It might be Brie versus someone else, but I mean it set it up nicely because she said you're gonna pay for this, and it's gonna be great. All right. Bo Dallas and Damian happened, and I'm only going to be on this a little bit because I'm only on it because it was a very, very confusing segment. Damian came out there in the LeBron James thing because he just left Miami, so everyone hated him automatically, and Bo Dallas was then there to beat him. That means that Bo was the face, and Bo was very face in that because he beat him, and then he would cheer, and everyone cheered him. I mean, it was very loud cheers. People were very happy that he just beat this guy. And it was very confusing because Bo Dallas is a heel, but he was doing very face things, and I'm wondering if they're turning Bo Dallas face. It really wouldn't make sense if they did, but either way, whatever. The next one I've already covered was Miz and Ziggler. Awesome match. Ziggler won that one. Of course, it's a non-title match, and I just don't see Ziggler winning that title unless The Miz continues getting no reaction, because he doesn't even get boos or cheers. No one cares. If he continues getting that no reaction thing, Ziggler may face The Miz at SummerSlam and beat him for the title. It's possible. Next was Ryder. Ryder won a match. Zack Ryder won a match, and everyone's like, oh, they're going to start pushing him again. No. You will not see Zack Ryder back on that show for a little bit. If he does, it'll be against Fandango, and he'll be beating Fandango again, which Zack Ryder could be released tomorrow and no one would care. No one would care. Because Zack Ryder has not been on TV for almost a year, and then he suddenly shows up. So, but it's cool that he got a win. I mean, that's awesome. The next one was another segment. I'm just going to skip what led to it. The new Nation of Domination, which is Big E, Kofi Kingston, both of them probably turning heel, and Xavier Woods comes out there as Malcolm Xavier and rallies the troops. Now, this Nation of Domination thing has been done before, but I'm thinking they can do it a little different this time. This is going to be a good heel stable. I see Mark Henry coming in and joining them. I don't think R-Truth or Titus O'Neil or nothing like that, or Titus Young, Titus O'Neil, I don't know what his name is. I don't see them coming in, but Mark Henry I can see coming in because he was in the Nation of Domination, and he could turn out to be the president, enforcer type. He would not have to get in the ring. It would just be pretty great for him to be kind of the mentor to the other guys. Xavier Woods would clearly be the mouthpiece. Kofi Kingston would be the exciting one, and Big E would be the muscle. So it would work out really well. Pretty much, Kofi Kingston would be the D'Lo Brown of the group. They need to have an Owen Hart in there. They have to have that one random white guy. I don't know who joins him. Be funny. The only thing I worry about is that this will become the Nation of Jobber Nation if they screw it up. But they could probably bring this out. The biggest, well, not the biggest problem, but one of the problems is the fact that we only get heel stables anymore. I mean, you can't turn Nation of Domination face. It's impossible. But we've had every stable that's come in the past 2 to 3 years has been a heel. So this is a little weird. And I mean, they could start dominating and taking titles, which would be fine. Be great. So either way, I'm looking forward to how this comes out. I'm not even sure that they're going to be the Nation of Domination. They could be something completely different. So either way, I'm looking forward to that one. New Nation would be pretty cool. The next one is Cesaro versus Ambrose, which was a decent match. It was actually not decent. It was very good. I think they should let those two go at it sometime in the future. The problem I had was the ending. The ending was really dumb. With the chair shot to end it, I didn't like that. So I was a little upset but Ambrose came out looking strong. Cesaro came out looking strong, but Cesaro, right before the match, says he's no longer a Paul Heyman guy. So he's separating himself from Paul Heyman. This could be good, or this could be bad. This could be bad in the fact that he no longer has a mouthpiece, and he no longer has someone who can push him to that limit, and they could be putting him on the back burner, which would suck. The good is that he's leaving and he's going to become a face. It's what is kind of needed right now with Cesaro. He needs to be a face, and he needs to get that crowd behind him again, because that Cesaro section has been getting smaller and smaller. But either way, I'm looking forward to what Mr. Cesaro has to offer. I'm hoping they don't put him on the back burner, and Ambrose is just there to look like a crazy dude because he's got to go after Rollins. It was a cool match, though. I enjoyed that match. I thought Brock was going to come out in that match, but he didn't. Speaking of, he did make his appearance as Plan C, of course. Everyone knew it was going to happen. He came out there, and the funniest part about the whole thing was the crowd's reaction. The crowd's reaction was not, boo, he beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. It was, yes, someone's going to destroy Cena. You know, so, I mean, essentially, he comes in there as a face, and it's funny. And even Paul Heyman tried to counteract that. That at the very beginning, he was like, my client Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker's undefeated streak, and he didn't get cheers, but he didn't get boos at that point. If you go back and watch that, people were clapping out of respect, like, yes, he beat him. He beat The Undertaker. He did. Yeah. So it was a really weird moment, but it was really cool at the same time. And then, pretty much, Paul Heyman murdered everyone on the mic, including Cena. It's like I tweeted. I tweeted right as soon as it happened. Heyman just defeated Cena verbally at SummerSlam. There's no need for Brock Lesnar anymore. Because he destroyed that mic. I mean, that was one of the best promos I've seen in a very long time. And the Pledge of Allegiance was even more beautiful. I admit it. I stood up, I put my hand on my heart, and pledged right along with him. And I even respect Cena, but I want to see him get his butt kicked. But that was an excellent ending to the show. I'm a big person who thinks that a show should end with a match, not a promo. But that was a good way to end the promo. And yes, for those asking, I did do the Lesnar guy pose whenever his music hit. I did. I did that thing. Yeah, it was cool. I marked out, even though I knew he was coming for a month. I knew he was going to show up at that Raw. Still marked out because I'm a big fan of Brock Lesnar. A lot of people are hating this whole thing, but I'm liking it. Okay, this is what I wanted to talk about earlier in the show. This is a problem. It is a major, major problem. Are WWE really going to go there? Are they really going to give that belt to Brock Lesnar? That's tough. That is a tough question, because you give it to Cena and you piss off everybody, because Cena's going to have that belt and it's not going to work. There's no one really there for him to go after. What's Rollins going to do? Cash in, and then Rollins and Ambrose are going to feud for the belt? No, that's not going to happen. But if you give it to Lesnar, if you actually give it to him, he's a limited guy. He is a part-timer, and everyone who watches SmarkCast knows how I am about part-timers having the belt. I'm not a big fan of that. With Brock, it's a little different because you can tweak his contract. He will accept it to be there every month at a pay-per-view and every now and then in a Raw. He doesn't need to be at every Raw. Just show up to destroy somebody. The problem here is who's going to take it from him, and how long is he going to hold it? If the current plan goes and he holds it until WrestleMania, where he drops it to Roman Reigns, that's 6 months. That is 6 months of Brock Lesnar holding that belt. And who is going to challenge him for that belt? I mean, you know that he's going to beat everyone. You'll get one more match out of Cena probably, and then what? And then what are you going to do? So it's a conundrum, and it's actually very interesting to see what they're going to do, how they're going to play this out. Will they go there? Will they give the belt to Brock Lesnar and create a possible shitstorm? Or will they keep it on Cena and create a guaranteed shitstorm? That's a rough one. I know that this is WWE's fault for painting themselves in the corner, but I do not envy these guys. It's bad. They're in a bad way right now. So they've got a choice to make, and this is it. You make the crowd happy by giving it to Brock Lesnar, and then make a lot of other people mad because a part-timer has it, or you make everyone mad by keeping it on Cena. That's a tough one. So either way, that's going to be it for the SmarkCast. I've run a little bit over. If you want to email me, it's smarkcast@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter at @minusdarren, MINUSDARRIN. Once again, for people who watch all the time, thank you once again. And yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting few weeks coming up. Very interesting. Thanks for watching again.